Collecting retro video games is a pain in the ass nowadays because people don't treat these games like they should. Collecting retro games has always been a big hobby of mine, but it's becoming near unbearable because shitheads keep driving up the price of many notable games. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining that things cost too much inherently. In any collecting sphere, there will always be those grails that cost a fortune, but it seems that everything before the 360 is unobtainable now. The GameCube is a perfect example of this. Many of its most acclaimed games are well over $60, and some like Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness can go for $200 just for the disc, and it gets worse the more retro you go. Some games that are part of long-running franchises like Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and especially Pokemon are games that can go for inordinate amounts of money. If you want to play Pokemon Black 2 on original hardware, you need $140 just for a loose cart, and then $80 to $100 for a system, nearly double what modern games are going for nowadays. And the more obscure you go, the worse it gets, with Sega CDM32X prices going for $200 plus, and that's even if the console and the game can even work given its age. In-person stores are often worse, with utterly criminal prices. However, I don't want to be too hard on them as they do have to compete with online stores and make a profit. And a lot of them are more locally owned and operated, so I don't mind spending a little more money if it means that stays within my local community. But why should I spend $40 for the Bioshock collection when I can get it for $15 on the Steam sale or even less physical? And then there's the topic of emulation. While this is often a response to many people's desire to play old and retro games, oftentimes early 3D games look like ass on modern displays simply because they were never envisioned to run on them in the first place. As well as consoles like the DS and the Wii, the controllers and the systems are integral to the actual gaming experience. Why spend $1,000 on a PC just to emulate a game that can run in your browser? And also, a lot of consoles don't even have properly nailed down emulators and ROMs like the Sega Saturn. Emulation often isn't even possible for many consoles and games simply because the consoles themselves are too hard to crack. And all of this would be less of a problem if it weren't for whales that buy games not because they like them, but because they're expensive and hold value. They treat them like speculative stocks, and the prices are a reflection of that. They make collecting a living hell for the rest of us. Putting the prices aside, it makes the relationship with the art form merely transactional. I don't buy and collect games because of their rarity, I buy and collect them because I want to play them. In the past, it was common to trade in older games for new ones to have more experiences. People had a mindset of letting go of the old to pursue the new and different, and we see this in Japan, where Japanese game stores can sell some of the most acclaimed games for a very good price. This is because they still have that mentality. Collectors existed back then, but was much more of a niche hobby than it is today. The relationship with the art form was a lot more healthy because people did not see them as stock options. But now, with the shit state that modern gaming is in, games are now worse than they've ever been. They ship for more money and have less content and often are in a broken state that takes years to patch.
Oh, but you have a large collection. And you don't play everything. You're a hypocrite.
Maybe, but I also buy games because I like the medium. A video game is the most interactive form a piece of media could ever take, second only to a book. With a video game, you are in complete control of your environment, and it's up to you to master the mechanics and push the story forward. Same way with a book, where in order to fully engage with it, you have to envision yourself within the environment within your mind, and therefore gain the full value of the story. That's why I like gaming so much as a medium, because it forces you to put yourself in the position of the protagonist. And it completely sucks because modern games seem to lack this. By and large, they're not made with the envision of putting yourself into a protagonist. They want the protagonist to be a reflection of you. They want the protagonist to be all-powerful because then it makes you feel all-powerful rather than you seeing some of yourself, some of your own humanity or your own vices within the video game protagonist. When I went home for Christmas this past year, I saw many of my childhood games lying in a pile on the floor. My younger siblings played free-to-play live service slop, and it was disheartening. I remember when I was a kid spending hours of my time on Minecraft with my brothers, or goofing off in Plants vs. Zombies, or playing Halo 4 with my dad. Now, these games, whether good or bad, they were able to bring me together because I was able to play with them not only by myself, but with people around me. We've completely lost touch of the fact that games can carry a story and can bring us together as communities, and instead of just turned it into a mindless way to waste an evening and afternoon. That's why I take collecting so seriously. It's why I'm angry that these prices are now unobtainable for me and many other people. I want my kids to feel the isolation of the Halo ring, the bravery it is to take on Rapture, the moral complexity of the Mojave, and the adventurous vigor of exploring the Sinnoh region. I want the next generation to experience media in this new and improved form so that they can go up and take those lessons that they've internalized and put them into the world. I take it seriously because it's helped mold and shaped me in a way that not many other things can even come close to. And it pains me to see how lackluster and callous people are. And the only people that really seem to care are those that don't see these games as the pieces of art that they are, but only in ways that can benefit them monetarily. This is why I despise stuff like graded games, where you put the case behind a plastic box that supposedly raises its value because it hasn't been touched. It's completely ludicrous. At the end of the day, I buy and collect and play games because I value the medium, because I see a portion of myself in the game, and I'm able to not only put myself in the situation, but take something out of it as well. And with me slowly growing my collection of old and vintage and retro games, hopefully, maybe I can provide the next generation with a similar feeling.